statements regarding his drug use.
This is Crave. It's a cereal.
And guilty on one count of illegal possession of a firearm.
It's made of
The jury deliberated for just under
bunch
3
of
hours.
stuff.
Special counsel David White, who prosecuted
This
the
is
case,
silk milk. It's almond milk. It's made from, I guess, cows that they feed almonds. Crave is what you're craving. Well, that's not what I'm craving. I'm craving some malt liquor power right about now. Oh, took every muscle in my bone to open this bag of craving. That's why I crave it. I'm not craving it. I don't crave it that bad. It's up. Dumping out of the bag. That's in a box. We're in a bowl about that much. Probably want more after that. Especially if you smoke marijuana. So I'm going to tell you something right now. Drink malt liquor. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't, it's alright.
Ryan, help us understand how the jury arrived at the convictions of all 3 counts. Mr. Biden's lawyers argued
Hunter
he
Joe
didn't
Biden.
knowingly violate the law.
Then you dump some
because he wasn't
some of this
actively abusing drugs at the time he filled out
almond
that
cow
form
milk, whatever it
and
is,
purchased the
in there and
firearm.
let the cream soak up. What's going to happen is the nutrients are going to break down to a level much similar to mostly. Malt liquor is mostly the most nutrient vessel containing liquid. And it's in a can. I prefer a bottle if you can.
They also presented Hunter's own memoir, in which he talks about his drug use and downward spiral.
I will enjoy this. Comparing, I should say, but the real power of this meal is the malt liquor. With this malt liquor, we can achieve unknown heights, gravitational situations that change the foundations of every modern thinker. Even caveman thoughts that still stick around today, like stupid ones and witchcraft stuff from the medieval times. Stuff that's still here, stupid. It's a good way to know what the fuck's up. That's not the case. That's hurricane. Now I've been waiting for this all day. I was at the nursing home visiting my uncle. He's my uncle, but he's got a lot of great nephews and nieces. He has no children himself, but we know of. Was gonna drink it there, but then it was just too. This wasn't the right time. So tomorrow we'll visit him again. You know, it's to be that point in life when.
2 of the gun counts carry a prison term as long as 10 years. Another is punishable by as many as 5 years. President Biden has already ruled out a pardon in this case. Give us a sense of what information the judge will weigh as she considers sentencing.
Well, this sentencing is totally up to Judge Mary Ellen Reka. She was a Trump appointee. She kept it swiftly, I would say. Now, yes, the maximum sentence.
So it looks like we got a lot of this almond milk cow stuff all over this surfaces of the grave, which means that this chemical reaction is occurring. And as I've ingested malt liquor into my enzymatic body, bacteria are just cheering me on right now. Cheering me on from the inside out.
So those are things that she can take into consideration when she considers a sentence. The sentencing guidelines, talking to former prosecutors, would appear to be somewhere between 6 and 21 months. It's going to depend on exactly how it's calculated. But she has a lot of possibilities of how ultimately she'll decide to sentence this. And again, it is in her hands, that decision.
And Ryan, in the 30 seconds we have
Hunter
left,
Joe Biden found guilty of having weapons. Shooting them off. Right now, I'm going to try this first bite of Crave. You notice.
That's right. There are 9 counts in that tax case. That case was also brought by special counsel David White.
Next to the hurricane.
it's a case that Hunter originally was supposed to go to trial on just a couple weeks from now, in June 20th. It got pushed back to September. So while one trial may be behind Hunter Biden,
It's good,
he's got another
but
one.
not as good as this right
That
here.
is NPR's Ryan Lucas. Ryan, thanks so much.
Thank you.
The verdict in the Hunter Biden case comes in the middle of his father's presidential re-election campaign, in just 2 weeks
It is
after
good, parent.
presumptive Republican nominee Donald
I'll
Trump
say
was
that right
found
now.
guilty on 34 felony counts in his hush money criminal case.
To unpack what all of this means politically, we're joined now by our White House correspondent, Laura Lopez. Laura, let's start with President Biden. Have we heard anything in the way of a response from him publicly, and also what are you hearing from people close to him?
We have a response from President Biden. He issued a statement today that reiterates much of his past comments on the matter. In a statement, President Biden said that, quote, "I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. Jill and I will always be there for Hunter and the rest of our family with our love and support. Nothing will ever change that." I spoke to a Democratic lawmaker close to the president on that, and they said that essentially President Biden has approached this as in two distinct roles: as a father who is trying to support his son and comfort his son and make sure that he continues on the path of recovery, but also as a president who needs to respect the judicial system, respect the rule of law, and show that he is not involved in this whatsoever, and this is an independent matter. And then I also spoke to a longtime aide to President Biden, former aide, who said that this has been weighing
With a
on
love
President
like
Biden
that,
as well as Joe
you know
Biden.
you
When it
should
comes
be
to
glad.
having an impact,
With a love like that, you know you should be
and
glad.
whether or not he is able to maintain his recovery, there's concern about a potential relapse. And so Jill Biden was there at the
What's the Joe
courtroom,
Biden?
in the courtroom for much of the trial, showing not just a public display, but trying to show Hunter that she was
public
there for him personally.
affair.
What about the response from former President Trump, from Republican lawmakers, many of whom we saw decry the justice system after
Gives a fuck what ex-presidents think.
Campaign spokesperson for President Trump issued a statement
Of course,
saying,
Trump
quote,
wouldn't say
"This
what? No, he's
trial
innocent.
has been nothing more than a distraction from the real crimes of the Biden crime
Oh,
family.
they're guilty.
Biden's reign over the Biden family criminal empire is all coming to an end."
I thought he was going to say, well, he's
with
not guilty.
eating
He's the
baseless
most innocent
accusations
man
against
ever.
President Biden,
It's a sham.
claiming that he was involved in his son's business dealings overseas, which there has been no evidence to support those claims from former President Trump as well as other Republicans. It's important to note on the difference between the way Republicans reacted to the verdict in Trump's New York
Sick of that
case versus
dude.
the way Democrats have reacted to the Hunter Biden verdict. And that's that Republicans called the system rigged when the verdict came down and said that they ultimately thought that there was a conspiracy theory. Democrats, by comparison, have said that the judicial process needs to be respected.
What are you seeing in your reporting?
The whole fucking Republican Party basically schizo fucking paranoid. Paranoid? What the fuck is out of there?
This is going to have an impact.
Fuck.
Biden's campaign doesn't think that
Like
this will
a bunch
have
of
a seismic
fucking
impact
Fruit
on the
Loops.
2024 election. When it comes to voters, the ones
Get
that
out of
I
here with
talk
this
to,
schizoid.
as well as the ones that
This
I've,
schizoid politics.
witnessed
Fuck
in
heads.
focus groups, they don't connect Hunter Biden's actions to President
Fucking
Biden.
losers.
Oftentimes they'll say things like, Hunter isn't president, or they'll express sympathy
Fuck that.
for Hunter's
Fucking this place.
addiction history and say that they've also experienced drug addiction in their family.
I
And
don't
so
believe in drug
polling
addiction.
bears this out as well on that, which is that a majority
I don't
of
believe in
voters and polls
alcoholism.
have said that
I don't
this
believe in
doesn't impact
racism.
who they decide to vote for president.
Our White House correspondent, Laura Lopez. Laura, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't believe in bloodletting either, for fuck's sake. But that's what they did back then.
In the day's other headlines, just hours after his son Hunter was convicted on gun-related charges, President Biden addressed gun safety in a Washington speech today. The president is looking to draw a line between himself and his rival, Donald Trump, on the issue of gun control ahead of the November election. At an Every Town for Gun Safety Action Fund
Gun
event,
control is actually like
aimed
pussy
at
control.
Trump's lack of action on the issue when the former president was in
Control
office.
that shit.
More children are killed in America by guns than cancer and car accidents combined. My predecessor told the NRA convention recently he's proud of, quote, "I did nothing on guns when I was president. And by doing nothing, he made the situation considerably worse.
For his part, Trump has
What
vowed
the
to roll
fuck,
back any gun control advances made during Biden's presidency. The president of Malawi confirmed today that his vice president
Jesus.
died in a military plane crash along the
Oh.
the
Jiminy Jack.
capital of Norway yesterday morning. The plane disappeared after it was unable to land at
It's probably fucking crash thing killing political leaders.
that the aircraft's wreckage was found in thick forest with no
America, come to
survivors.
save
Limo
a
was first elected vice
day.
president in 2014. He was 51 years old.
Damn.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky
He's
drummed
younger
up
than me.
military and financial support from European leaders today at the start of a two-day conference in Berlin. Host nation Germany promised to give Kyiv new air
Why the
defense
fuck
systems,
is Russia
and
being such
Italy
a
pledged
fucking
$150 million to
Deutsch?
rebuild Ukraine's energy infrastructure, often targeted in Russian strikes. The World Bank estimates that Ukraine will need
How good is
$500
that doing
billion
blowing up
over 10
every
years to
fucking
rebuild.
building anywhere?
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz played up Ukraine's bid for EU membership
Fucks
and
up with
making
that
his
crap.
pitch to the conference for more
Sick of that
aid.
shit. I'm sick of the people fighting in this world. Fuck, you should know better right now, you fucking idiots.
Massive investment.
Like, stop doing it.
We are talking about the reconstruction of a future member state of the European Union.
All this
For
comes
what?
ahead of an international peace conference in Switzerland this weekend. Nearly 90
Yeah, just
countries are
if you
set
start
to
that shit,
attend.
get the fuck out of
Russia
there, man.
was not invited.
But
China has
put up with
arrested
it
a
either.
suspect in the stabbing of 4 Americans on Monday in what police believe was a random attack. Officials say the 55-year-old suspect attacked the victims after colliding with them in a public park. Their injuries are not life-threatening. A Chinese tourist was also wounded in the attack. The victims were instructors from Iowa's Cornell College who were teaching at a Chinese university in Jilin. China's foreign ministry said the incident wouldn't affect exchanges between the two countries.
Engaging in U.S.-China people-to-people exchanges is in line with both sides' interests. China has always taken
After this, probably
take such measures to earnestly protect the safety of
gotta
all
move a
borders.
fucking organ
The U.S. State Department says it's
about
in
50
touch with
yards,
local
see what
authorities
mine
about the attack and
fucked up.
is monitoring the
Not
situation.
even path.
A federal judge ruled
Back
that
to
the
the
Florida law
liquor
restricting
shack.
gender-affirming medical care
Haul that
is
bitch down in that motherfucker. At least I got a
2023
dolly,
law
but it's
blocks
kind of unruly.
transgender minors from
On flat ground.
treatment
On flat ground.
blockers and hormones. It
I
also
gotta get done
limited the
before it gets
options
dark.
given
I'm getting
to
tired of that now.
adults to
Probably
be
call it
treated.
an early night.
Senior Judge Robert Hinkle wrote, transgender opponents are not free to discriminate against transgender individuals just for being transgender. Governor Ron DeSantis said his office will appeal the decision. Johnson & Johnson has agreed to pay $700 million to settle an investigation by 42 states into its marketing of baby powder and other talc-based products. The deal resolves charges that the company told consumers the products were safe while knowing they had links to cancer. In a
You should
statement,
use
Colorado's
Johnson's baby
Attorney
powder all
General,
the time.
who's
Don't
one
know
of the
why I got
plaintiffs, said,
cancer.
today's settlement sends a message that
Probably why cause I got cancer
for
too.
their deceptive and harmful conduct. Johnson & Johnson did not admit to any wrongdoing. And on Wall Street today, stocks ended mixed ahead of Wednesday's inflation data and Federal Reserve meeting. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 120 points to close at 38,747. The Nasdaq added 151 points to close at a new record. The S&P 500 also ended at an all-time high. And a staple of the American summer is losing a key ingredient this year. Joey Chestnut will not be competing at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Nathan's
on
hot
July
dogs are
4th.
great.
The
They're the
16-time
best.
champion found himself at odds with event organizers over his decision to endorse the Impossible line of vegan meat products. In a statement, Major League Eating said, quote, "We are devastated to learn that Joey Chestnut has chosen to represent a rival brand." MLB also called Chestnut, quote, "an American hero," and said they would welcome him back if he drops his other endorsement deal. Still to come on the News Hour, President Biden courts black voters as polls show support slipping in this key voting bloc. Outbreaks of bird flu at dozens of dairy farms raise concerns the virus could spread more widely to humans. And despite a major U.S. manufacturing push for semiconductors,
Fucking
companies
chickens.
struggle to find workers to build them.
Just ate some chicken today too, man. Fuck, I got bird influenza.
This is the PBS NewsHour
Oh,
from WEPA's
what
New York,
next?
Washington, and
from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.
What next?
Hamas formally responded to an Israeli-backed ceasefire
I thought they were all
proposal,
dead.
but did not fully approve it.
I thought the fucking
today.
Hamas's
fuckers,
reply
they
comes
killed them
11
all.
days after President Biden revealed a three-phase ceasefire proposal that would begin with a temporary ceasefire. Nick Schifrin is here now. He's been following all of this. So, Nick, what do we know about Hamas's reply?
Bullshit.
A regional official tonight tells me that Hamas's reply was, quote, positive. And Hamas and the militant group Palestinian Islamic Jihad released a statement tonight saying, quote, the Palestinian delegation voiced willingness to deal positively in order to reach an agreement, but it also described the, quote, necessity of completely stopping the ongoing aggression against Gaza and the withdrawal of Israeli forces from the entire Gaza Strip. And that suggests that Hamas is demanding the text matches what they are demanding in public, a permanent guaranteed ceasefire. The deal only requires Israel to commit to a temporary ceasefire that would continue as long as the two sides are negotiating. So as John Kirby, the National Security Council spokesman, said today, it is positive that Hamas has formally responded. It's not clear that it's enough to bridge the two sides gap. And Nick, what has Israel responded? Well, today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu committed to this deal. It is, of course, an Israeli-backed deal, but Netanyahu continues in public to vow to destroy Hamas militarily. U.S. officials remain concerned, Jeff, that both sides are more interested in blaming the other for the failure of these talks than they are for actually making progress. But U.S. mediation will continue. U.S. diplomatic pressure will continue because, frankly, U.S. officials think this is really the only way to end the war that is devastating so much of Gaza. Today, the U.S. committed another $404 million in humanitarian assistance, despite so many limitations on that have left Gazans largely on their own.
Influenza.
Her stage is Gaza's ruins.
Looks cool.
Her audience is Gaza's displaced children.
Looks cool.
All my memories, all my in my home. So I bought my father's friend's guitar to continue to deliver my message to the world.
Before the war, 19-year-old Rahaf Nasser was studying medicine. Now she tries to heal with music.
I was still doing a lot
Oh.
to be alive.
Look at the guitar. It looks like a...
Here we cannot do anything.
The guitars, it's...
They cannot do anything.
Bro, we used a lot.
They just won't feel.
There is no time to waste, given the hell that hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are enduring every single day.
Today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed
Actually said the hell.
to surge aid to Gaza. Martin Griffiths is the UN's humanitarian coordinator.
It's a unanimous horror at the vast toll of death, injury, destruction, displacement, serial displacement, trauma and deprivation suffered by the people of Gaza in just 9 months.
And the most vulnerable are Gaza's youngest. In this makeshift school in central Gaza, they learn to live. But in southern Gaza, UNICEF says nearly 3,000 are at risk of dying. And across Gaza, 90% lack enough food. Israel has opened the southern crossing Kerem Shalom, and hundreds of Israeli-sponsored migrants are entering. The U.S. and Israeli officials say distribution inside Gaza is limited because there aren't enough trucks. And the Rafah crossing remains closed, with aid trucks backed up in Egypt. And so in already overwhelmed hospitals, there's a shortage of generators and fuel to provide power and supplies to save the sick. And to discuss the medical crisis as well as the overall humanitarian situation in Gaza, I'm joined by Admiral Benoit, Chief Executive Officer of Doctors Without Borders USA. Admiral Benoit, thank you very much. Welcome back to the NewsHour. After this past Saturday's rescue of 4 Israeli hostages that Hamas says killed more than 270 people, about 700 patients arrived in the Al-Aqsa hospital where you have staff. Your team was working there. What were
The injuries.
Sometimes when I was a kid, probably mid-teenage years, younger, I would start speaking in tongues.
Severely wounded that came in, dismemberments, severe trauma.
I would go into this trance, like,
fractures,
just start speaking languages that words and phrases that no one ever heard. No one knew what the fuck I was saying. I didn't either. But it felt like it was meaningful.
You have some 400.
I thought about that. I said, how could
nurses and staff in Gaza, are they able
tongues, gibberish of the tongue, be meaningful?
No, certainly not. And there isn't a humanitarian.
I thought about it. And I said, what does it matter?
The orders from the International Court of
Does it really matter?
In January, imploring and insisting that Israel make sure that humanitarian aid could reach people in order to prevent conditions of genocide.
And I haven't spoken in tongues since
then. We've not really seen an improvement at various times, such as since the beginning of June, a deterioration. Unfortunately, also, is that these mass casualty influxes, where you've got hundreds of people coming into a hospital,
I fooled everyone.
A well-equipped major hospital in the United States that's properly staffed.
It's like Edward Norton in that one movie.
Electricity, clean water, cleaning up and so on. Even they would struggle with the number of patients.
Hundreds of trucks are getting in to southern Gaza via Kerem, as well as into northern.
Right now,
half of which
here's the case. I ate all the crave of it, and I said, you probably want more. And I said, that's not what I'm going to do. But you know what? I'm not.
Is that something that you are specifically seeing that?
So I will, out of the bulls drink the rest of the cow on the milk.
Without a doubt, you've got the shortage of fuel, which is a serious impediment for even the truck drivers that are willing to take the risks of so many volatile checkpoints where sometimes the violence is unpredictable, and where there is a lack of respect for the delivery of humanitarian aid, the indiscriminate violence, the targeted violence against humanitarians. It makes for really difficult conditions, and it doesn't help to be blamed then by the Israeli propaganda saying, well, look, the humanitarians aren't doing their job. Well, ultimately, all the belligerents are responsible for creating conditions that would allow humanitarian aid to come in accordance with humanitarian law, and that's just not what we're seeing.
When you refer to belligerents, are you speaking about
drunken belligerents? You know, everyone's got a friend drunk belligerents.
And anyone that is carrying a gun, essentially, that's engaged in this war. When we call for a ceasefire, when we call for respect of civilian spaces, it is imploring all the parties, the warring parties, to respect the call for ceasefires.
Israeli and U.S. officials consistently say that they see Hamas fighters operating from UN schools, even the hospitals that we've been talking about. Have you seen Hamas fighters use these hospitals as any kind of command and control or the source of fire at Israeli forces?
We keep hearing these allegations without much to substantiate them in terms of our own experience of the hospitals where we're supporting. These are sometimes vast structures. They do have tunnels underneath for clinicians, for healthcare workers who are dealing with hundreds of patients. Hospitals that are full of patients. And a reminder to all those who justify these massacres, these attacks on civilian infrastructures on the basis of the space was militarized. Civilian spaces are being militarized by both sides.
It's a hurricane.
And
I'm out of here.
It's not acceptable to then suggest that protection of civilians, which is enshrined in the Geneva Convention,